We are back at the back of my truck. I'm just sticking with it because I can't not say it. And I wanted to talk to everybody. So far we've got quite a few subscribers. There's like 61 at the time of this filming, and that's pretty awesome. Thanks for watching. There's like a ton of people that have looked at this, and I think that's crazy, and I'm pretty excited about that. So we just had the National Pathfinder Youth Organization skills camp out at the school this past weekend, and I got to volunteer to help with that. One of the classes I was going to teach, but we kind of ran out of time, was making natural cordage out of dogbane. This is dogbane. This is the second year after it has gone to seed, died out, dried out, and it is in the milkweed family, but it does not have the same beneficial latex as milkweed. It is actually poisonous, so don't eat it. This is some more dogbane. Some of it's a little beat up, but I just kind of wanted to take a little bit of time and show some people how I make it. It might not even be right, but it works pretty well. So this is the dogbane stalk, and most of what I use is up to where it starts to branch off. You can still get some out of there, but it's diminishing returns at that point. So what I like to do is I just kind of take my thumb and I crush it all the way down. Sometimes it's stout enough that I have to crush it both ways, but usually it breaks. And then I just separate into the fourths there, just running my finger along there. Look, see, some of it's already starting to come off. Definitely easier than when I started making cordage out of dogbane. I was making it out of green dogbane, and then trying to figure out how to either let it wilt, let it ret, or just use it fresh and green. Fresh and green is probably the hardest to work with and shrinks the most. This is the best way that I found to process that makes really, really awesome cordage. You just kind of break it and peel it. I like to, I'll try and peel it this way a little ways. This is what I've seen on other YouTube channels. And you just kind of break it and then slide it. And these chunks come off, and I just throw them over there. See, that just comes right off of there. Break it, slide it the opposite way. That usually means that most of the fibery stuff, you can see how fine these little tiny fibers are, and they're just, it actually, once we start processing this turns into some really almost fabric like softness, and it's pretty cool. So I'll show you that here in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and finish processing out a chunk of this. Like I said, you gotta pull from both sides. Every now and again you get a little bit like that stuck to, and that will affect processing. Not like, it doesn't make it impossible or anything, but definitely gets annoying when you're trying to process it. So just peel back a little bit that way, and then peel back the rest of the way that way. Throw those off to the side, peel back. Hopefully I can speed this part up for everybody. The youth event was amazing. Man, I am ready to do that again. Working with those kids was a lot of fun. They were all really excellent students. I can't wait to see them. Hopefully we'll see them all again in like a basic class in a few years. It'd be so cool to see these kids there. I hope to see them there. I hope to see them at least at some other classes. They were a lot of fun. My team on the navigation, actually our group got back first. Shout out to Eric Nolan. He was helping me out, teaching those kids how to run nav courses at the Pathfinder School. After we have kind of peeled back all of that inner woody part of the dogbane, we end up with these kind of ribbons of the outer bark, if you will. And what we want are these tiny fine fibers you see in between, kind of fuzzing up off of the edges. And what we don't want is that reddish waxy layer. That's the official color. I don't know, it's reddish brown. It's kind of red and brown. I feel like my camera moved on me. Let's see about that. We want to get rid of that waxy, barky-ish kind of stuff. So what I do is I just kind of take that whole ribbon, the whole strand, and I just kind of crumple it up together, and I just start twisting back and forth. And I start rolling it between my fingers, and once I get a section kind of processed a little bit, it'll start kind of rolling, and then I'll start just twisting it. You guys hear that? It's a good sound. I don't know, it's just crinkly. I'm not like an ASMR guy, but I just do that for a really long time. You can do this. That also works. This is gonna be a really good piece. It's gonna net some nice long fibers. So we're just gonna keep on working it, and then working it some more. Oh wait, we're gonna keep working it because this takes a long time. The really good argument for carrying a 6-foot utility cord, piece of paracord in your pocket, because this is not something you do like when, oh man, I need a rope. This is something I do for fun. It's definitely a good lesson to learn. Like, I mean, it's a skill for sure, and I am practicing, and it's a lot of fun. Hopefully the parents of the students see this video and maybe they can show it to them, and I can sort of virtually teach them how to make cordage. It would have been a really fun thing to do with them. Like I said, it just didn't work out. There's going to be a couple more, hopefully in this coming year, because that was a ton of fun working with the National Pathfinder Youth Organization to put on a class. Volunteering for that was a lot of fun. I did get to teach some notches and some navigation stuff, and I got to assist in teaching shelter craft and all kinds of cool stuff, emergency shelters with their ponchos, their kit use, all of those things. It was so much fun. Highly recommend it. If you're not already a part of it, take a look on Facebook for the Pathfinder School Learning Center page. That's what it is. It's a Facebook group. A lot of good knowledge is shared in there. A lot of fun posts, a lot of good experiences that other people are having. Family-friendly group. Kevin Baxter really likes to make sure that people are following the rules. Big fan of rules, that guy. Salty Dog Outdoors. Check out his channel. Kind of rambling because this takes a long time. I think I mentioned that. Sometimes I'll fold it up just to get it a little bit thicker in my hands. I can't say that that necessarily works faster. It makes me feel really productive. Oh, now it's like in a ball. You have to then unravel your twisted mess. Up close, all the fibers are starting to come out in there. A lot less of that bark. No longer do we have these ribbons. Sometimes I'll start working with it. At this point, a lot of this bark will continue to fall off as I'm twisting it into rope. This is another little trick that I do, is I'll twist it and kind of pull it through my hands. And that seems to be very productive. Here goes a bunny. Ooh, got the hiccups. So, and then I'll just kind of run my fingers through it, kind of let it whip around, like bending it around my thumb or around my finger, back and forth, so that I don't create too many tangles. Pretty rope-like. So I've already started a very small rope that I've been working on, so I'm going to continue to work this and add it into that, show you a combination of that rope and getting a reverse wrap cordage rope started, because I don't even think I addressed that in my cattail rope. I think I just started making reverse wrap cordage, and a lot of people watch that video. Real quick before my battery dies, these are the very fine little bits of that bark that fall off while you're working on it. You will get covered in them. Here's the rope that I've been making so far. It's just reverse wrap cordage, and it's getting there. It's getting pretty long, pretty uniform. across the whole thing. This stuff's super strong. On green dogbane, my friend Eric Boyette actually made a cord very thin like this, and then doubled it over and was able to hold his body weight. You know, that's pretty good. Some of the strength of reverse wrap cordage is the surface area that is in contact with all of the other wraps, twisted all around. Whatever weight you're putting on it does not end up on the individual tiny strands. They can't hold that much weight. So I'm peeling it all apart so I can get kind of tufts of it that are more manageable for my purposes. But something like this is what I'm going to be adding into it. But I'm also going to use that as my example to show you how I start this cordage. It's a pretty good one. You find the center somewhere around there, and then it's really kind of almost too simple. So I just twist and twist and twist, and I just am using my fingers to hold it while I twist it more and more. So I just keep it twisted, 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 and eventually when I bring it together, it'll make this loop. And if I just keep twisting, it just starts turning into this little reverse wrap cordage. Focus, there we go, that's pretty good. So it just kind of starts twisting up on itself. And from there, take the top strand, I pinch where it's crossing, I pinch that in my fingers, and I take the top strand, separate it from the bottom strand, and then I just start twisting it, and I twist it away from myself. Then I reach underneath, pinch the bottom one, twist over top with the one I just twisted backwards. Then I do the same thing with this one, and twist away from myself, and then twist back on itself. Twist away from myself, grab the bottom, twist back on itself. So I just do that over and over again, and I just keep twisting away from myself on the top strand, pinching the bottom strand, flipping it over. I made very little progress so far, but a little bit of progress nonetheless. Hey, can I get you to focus in on that? Somehow it just does not want to focus. There, I think it's kind of in focus. So we made a little bit of progress, and I'm just keeping on. Twist the top strand away from myself, over top of itself. Twist the top strand away from myself, roll it over on top of itself. Twist away from myself, roll it over on top of myself. Twist away from myself, pinch the bottom strand, roll it over on top of itself. Over and over and over again, and eventually that becomes rope. This is the one that I'm actually working on for my own personal project. Twist away, roll towards, twist away, roll towards, twist away, pinch and roll towards, pinch, twist away, pinch and roll towards. I'm saying it wrong. I can do it right. It's almost muscle memory at this point for me. Been doing this a lot lately. You do have to make sure that the tails, since they're this super fine fiber, you see how soft that's getting, make sure that that doesn't get tangled up. It does like to kind of get knotted. So if you notice, I also, every time I twist, I release while I'm still holding it and move my finger up, and I kind of pull it back away from the knot so I maintain tension on it. This just makes a tighter and nicer wrapped cord. This top one is getting a little bit thin, and like I said, I'm trying really hard to make this even, so I'm just going to add just a tiny bit, and I'm going to add it to the top one. What I like to do is I'll stick it right in that crease where, or those two parts of the rope are coming together, and I'll kind of shove it up in there. Then I will twist this side in, and that'll pull it tight, and then I'll wrap it around, and I'll twist this side in. You still have all of the benefits of each twisted strand coming into most contact with the twisted strands around it, and then also with that reverse wrap on there, not only does it hold it tight together, but that also creates a friction between those two separate strands, and creates the most surface area contact That's what makes twisted rope or braided rope stronger, is that additional surface area that is causing friction between the different layers. And that's science, I think. I'm not a scientist. So both of those are now getting kind of uniformly thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in a couple of seconds here, add more, but I'm going to add like a more substantial amount in to even out these strands. So I'm going to take this strand and then I just tuck that up in there, and I just like to go right across, and then I twist this side in, and then I twist this side in. Then it's locked in there. It does create like a nicer look. It looks finer on there because there's less little tags sticking out of it that you got to burn off later after you break the rope. So this is the rope I've made so far. About 2 3/4 feet long right now. This is again what it looks like when you first strip it off of the dogbane plant. This is what you hope to end up with after you've processed it and processed it and processed it. That's my face. This is what dogbane looks like. It's got this reddish color, again that reddish brown. Pretty cool plant for doing the cordage thing. Thanks for joining me at the back of my truck for this hopefully good lesson on making reverse wrapped cordage out of dogbane. Maybe I should rename my channel Back of My Truck Bushcraft. I'm not going to do that. So Woodcraft Outdoor Survival. If you want, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, that's also fine. If you have any comments that might help me make better videos in the future, that would be cool. Or if you just like it and you want to say, hey, I like your video, that's really fun to see also. I've gotten a few cool comments where people are just like, oh, thanks for sharing, and I'm like, you're welcome. Thanks for listening to me be insane. Really don't know what to do for a sign off. Thanks for joining Woodcraft Outdoor Survival. My name's Nick, and go make some rope. Sign off nailed. Alright, so here we are at the back of my truck again. Well, I'll just cut that out. So we had the the National Pathfinder Youth Organization camp, skills camp last weekend. Man, let me try that again. We had the National Youth, that was wrong. So here we are back at the back of my truck. Back at the back of my truck. Back at the back of my truck. Got it. We're back at, I did it again. National Pathfinder Youth Association Organization. Try again. I use different hair so I can speak as if I have some experience with it. On the thing. Oh, dropped the camera. So thanks for joining Woodcraft Outdoor Server.